Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Monday edition of Inside the 20 with myself and Keith Niebuhr. We will do our best to get as much recruiting intel to you as inside the 20-minute mark. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. If you're not a member of that site, you're absolutely missing out. 50% off right now, basically a clearance sale. And we are going to talk as much recruiting as we can in the next 19 and a half minutes. Keith, how you doing, big dog?
I'm good, man. I can't come on camera today. I haven't put my makeup on, and I don't know. I just look terrible. So I'm gonna.
I understand.
Yeah,
I mean,
I look a little cold too. So, but yeah. So no, everything's good. I mean, it's people wonder, when you have a cloud of uncertainty hanging over a coaching staff, as we do right now, what do you write about? But there's been plenty to write about.
There really has.
Yeah, and Auburn had an off week, a bye week, which meant the staff was out and about. So, yeah, there's plenty to get everybody caught up on.
Hey, and before we get everybody caught up on, we do want a big how about you to Caleb Schofield. They're at Mike Patton Auto in LaGrange, Georgia, off Lafayette Parkway. Caleb's got a big lot of used and new cars. He sells new Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Honda. Huge lot of used car, a lot that Keith has already used. And Keith purchased a used car from Caleb, and it passed a multi-point inspection. All of them do. And they back the used cars with a free 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty. The new ones even get an even better deal on them. Get a free lifetime powertrain warranty, unlimited time, unlimited mileage. And heck, if you're not in the market for a new car and you need $300, you know somebody who's looking for one, send them to Caleb. He'll give you $300 just for telling somebody about it. Referral. That's the word I was looking for. Referral. 334-531-0996. Caleb Schofield, Mike Patton Auto, LaGrange, Georgia, there off of Lafayette Parkway. 334-531-0996. Hey, good Auburn guy, man. Good Auburn guy. Help support the guys that support us, man. We appreciate Caleb and his advertisement. I also appreciate him taking me hunting. It wasn't a bad deal either. Keith, Arkansas is coming to town Saturday morning. Kickoff is at 11 a.m. Central Time, and it looks like we're going to have some things to do recruiting-wise. You've already confirmed Colton Hood, the Michigan State commitment, is coming in for an official visit. And you had mentioned, I don't know if it was on air or off air last night, that Tyler Scott was a possibility as well. I was able to confirm that this morning. He also will be on an official visit. I tell you, there's about 3 or 4 other guys right now, big-time guys, 4-star guys that could also be in for official visits. Have yet to confirm them. Won't mention their names until I can confirm. But one of those guys I think we talked about last week or the week before, which is Xavion Miller, who is the number 1 junior college offensive tackle in the country. I think the number 5 overall junior college player in the country. He is committed to Ole Miss. He's expected to take an official visit to Auburn this weekend, potentially. Still trying to confirm that, but I've got him on my list. So you've got Colton Hood, Tyler Scott, two of the top cornerback targets, or defensive back targets. I'm not sure where they fit in the backfield, but two of the top guys in the back secondary coming in for official visits. Potentially Miller coming in, and then 3 other guys we're going to be keeping an eye on. Keith, another junior college offensive tackle, Auburn went and saw Saturday. Brian Harsin, Will Friend, both went to Kansas. Checked out Coffeyville offensive tackle Keyshawn Blackstock. What's the latest on him, Keith?
Yeah, I mean, it's things change daily in a lot of recruitments, and what's changing in his is really only the fact that new schools keep popping up every week because he's getting new offers. I mean, the guy's really blown up. I think most of these schools are realizing this is somebody that's big and athletic, can play tackle or guard, and I think Auburn's got him earmarked to play tackle, but he can play either or. Big, physical, athletic, great reach, light on his feet for a guy over 300 pounds. And so he's somebody that people project can come in and start right away. I think, Penn State possibly going to get an official visit. Oregon maybe as well. But Auburn certainly impressed him, as we mentioned over the weekend, by being there at his game. He'll probably try to visit Auburn after the season. It's hard for him to get here during this. His open week did not correspond with an Auburn home game. I think that was when Auburn was at Georgia, so he wasn't able to see Auburn play. But he's been going to Auburn games his whole life. So look for him to visit Auburn after the season. Look for his mother to come over on her own. She's got to buy her own ticket. That's how it goes. But she's going to come over one of the next couple of home games, either Arkansas or Texas A&M. And that's significant. He's very close to both parents. You got to really recruit everybody.
Sure.
If somebody has one parent, you got to recruit that parent. If they got two, you got to recruit two. Some kids have four parents.
Grandmas,
divorced parents, remarry. You got to impress the stepdad. I mean, it's a team effort, and a team effort on both ends. A team effort at Auburn, and then a team deal with the families too. So, but we like where Auburn sits right now. I've put in official projection for Auburn. Confidence rate 55-60%. Somebody close to him told me that they think it's probably higher than that, but I'm always super cautious. So
sure.
I like where Auburn sits, but again, because he's blowing up, expect the unexpected sometimes. There could be other visits pop up. We'll have to see. I don't think it's just I think Auburn's certainly going to have to be on the defensive, play defense at times. First of all, schools are really negative recruiting Auburn right now with a lot of kids. Hey, these guys aren't going to be there. So, if you're the Auburn staff, you've got to push through that element of it as well and sell Auburn as a whole. And I think they've done a good job of that.
Penn State, he told you, what did you say, Keith, on the official visits? There were two. Was it Oklahoma?
I think he's going to officially visit Penn State and Oregon. But again, that, what it is one day can change the next.
Sure.
So you just don't know.
I said last night on the call-in show, Keyshawn was not highly recruited. I don't know that he was recruited at all out of high school, Newton High School in Covington, Georgia.
Yeah.
And so, man, these guys when they do get recruited, especially out of JUCO like this, man, it's hard for them not to just take it all in and love and live in the moment and be recruited. So I kind of understand what he's doing.
Absolutely.
And but I really do feel like, and you said it earlier, Auburn is in a very good position. He's from Georgia. He loves Auburn. Dad's a big Auburn guy. Auburn has the absolute best opportunity for him to come in and earn playing time. I think he's a 3-for-2 guy. He's got 3 years, but two years of eligibility.
Yeah, I think his dad had told me he thought he was 3-for-3, but
yeah,
it would be 3-for-2.
Yeah,
trying to get clarity on that.
But Keith, and another guy from Georgia you talked to and confirmed the official visit, Colton Hood. He is from where? Oh, he's from Eagles Christian.
Yeah, Eagles Landing Christian.
Yeah.
Landing McDonough, yeah.
Colton Hood. Talk about his family. I know Roderick. I remember Roderick from Auburn. I remember Roderick at the Eagles. Is that his uncle?
Yeah, I think I got to get all this remembered.
Yeah.
His father played receiver for Auburn, but I think his uncle was the one that was the star.
Yeah.
He's got multiple people in his family have played for Auburn, and Auburn took a while to offer him. And by the time Auburn offered him, Michigan State had already kind of gotten its hooks into him, and he also, I think, wants to try to play baseball in college. I don't know what the situation would be should he choose Auburn, but at Michigan State he'd have the opportunity to play both. I don't know how huge of a factor that is. It's just something. Hey, if the opportunity presents itself, he'd like to do.
Sure.
But Auburn's really pushed lately. Recruited him a little harder and a little harder each week. And Jeffrey, he's got a teammate named DJ Chester that's an offensive lineman, big 4-star guard. He's an All-American. He's going to be in the All-American Bowl, which is formerly the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. So he's a legitimate top 250 national recruit. And then Colton Hood's really good too. Obviously, he's having a big season. He's not the biggest defensive back in the world, but he just does so much for his team. He's kind of a gamer. I mean, he rushes the ball, he catches the ball. It looks like he might have played a little quarterback last week.
Dang.
He got interceptions. I mean, pass breakups. He does a little bit of everything. He's just a really good high school football player. So he's going to officially visit this weekend, and I know he's pretty excited about it. I know his family's really excited about it, he said. So that's certainly somebody to watch. And we thought all along that if Auburn pushed for him, it would have a chance to flip him. And it does seem like Auburn is pushing. So we'll have to see what the next step is in this recruitment. But obviously getting him on campus for an official visit is significant. He was at the Auburn, I think, Penn State game earlier this year. So game number 2, as you get a little closer to signing day, proximity to home can sometimes be something that helps you. Well, boy, that getting up to this school or that school isn't so easy, but Auburn's right down the road. Then you have the family ties. Then you have the fact Auburn's prioritizing him and has a need in the secondary. Quite frankly, could lose a bunch of guys in the secondary off this team. So it's lining up to look like Auburn's got a real shot here.
Definitely got to keep an eye on another one.
Yeah.
Who another guy who we thought, and Auburn got in on Tyler Scott. Tyler Scott, the cornerback, long rangey guy, 6'2", 185, from Jared Harper's neck of the woods, which is Pebblebrook in Mableton, Georgia. He was committed to Arkansas State. In August, I think Auburn jumped in. And if you'll remember, Keith, I don't know if you do, but I certainly do. Auburn offers this Arkansas State commitment, and most of the people on the board were like, oh, my God. Here we are offering, hope we can steal this guy from Arkansas State. Well, you know what's happened since then? A lot of the same things that we saw with Arion Carter. Auburn offers, an Arkansas State commitment. Auburn offered the Memphis commitment, and all of a sudden, here comes Alabama, here comes Tennessee, here comes Florida, here comes all these schools jump in. USC jumped in on Tyler Scott. He decommits from Arkansas State. Zach Etheridge has been on this guy for a long time. He visited for the Penn State game. He's going to come back this weekend for an official visit. Clemson's working in on him. Tennessee, Alabama. A lot of schools on Tyler Scott. This kid's blown up. When you last wrote about him, Keith, I think it was in early September. He was the number 1,200 overall in the On3 consensus. This morning, when I wrote about him coming in this weekend, he had cut that in half. He was in the 600s. So big move on school boards, target boards, as well as in the rankings. This guy can do it all. He's got the NFL type body, 6'2", like I said, 185. He's coming in this weekend for an official visit. We thought at one time he could be the next commitment.
Yeah.
And since then, like I said, all these other schools have offered, including Alabama. Kind of made me a little hesitant, and I think I've brought down my percentage. I think we both feel like of the two, Colton Hood, Tyler Scott, maybe Auburn has a better shot with Colton Hood, at least at this point. We'll see what happens this weekend with Tyler Scott.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Jeffrey. It's now what you hope if you're Auburn is that the fact that you got in on him a little bit before everybody else, that 2 to 3 week head start, let's say. Did that give you enough time to build a solid foundation with him and get out in front of everybody else? Maybe. But once those schools that have twice as many wins as Auburn get involved, that's when it gets tricky. And of course, this guy, if he's built a good relationship with the Auburn staff, he's going to want to know if these guys are going to be there. So while you're selling the school, you're also selling yourself a little bit too. So there's all kinds of things going on with this recruitment, but it's significant to get him in this weekend. There won't be a ton. It's an early game, so there won't be 700 recruits there. So the staff is really going to be able to give him a lot of time, okay, as far as along with the other official visitors this week. They're each going to get a lot of time, a lot of attention. And so we'll see at the end of the weekend where Auburn sits. But this is really Auburn's best chance to make a significant move again and maybe get back into that lead spot. But I don't think it's going to be easy. Is it possible? Yes. But is it going to be easy? I doubt it, given the nature of who else is after him.
I was looking at the itineraries last week for Auburn's coaches. Who was at Meadow Creek?
Meadow Creek? Was that – it wasn't Brumbaugh, was it?
No. Do you remember who the recruit is?
Oh, I don't. I know they have they used to have a young defensive lineman there. I'm not sure if he's still there.
I get Meadow Creek and Pebble Brook mixed up.
Meadow Creek's up in Gwinnett County, northeast of Atlanta, and then Pebble Brook would be west of Atlanta. Okay.
All right. Auburn's been by there to see Tyler Scott. They were one of the first guys to go by and see him. Loved his frame, loved his range, got in on him. We'll see what he says after this weekend, kind of where he stands. I think he's going to USC in December for an official visit, so his recruitment likely won't be over until December. But another guy that I'm intrigued with potentially coming in this weekend is Xavier Miller, number 1 junior college tackle in the country, offensive tackle. He's committed to Ole Miss. We know how Lane Kiffin is in JUCO and in the transfer portal. Certainly a formidable foe. But this kid is Auburn went and saw him, I think, 2 weeks ago, and went back. I think it might have been last week. This kid, certainly one of the top targets on Auburn's board to come in and play at left tackle. We talked about Keyshawn Blackstock maybe being a right tackle guy. Well, here's your left tackle. He's from East Mississippi Community College, originally from Memphis. So Ole Miss certainly has a lot of things working for it in its favor with him. But Auburn's at least got him intrigued enough to want to come in for a visit. He's a guy – I don't really know much about him, Keith. I don't know that you do either. He's kind of new to Auburn's board. But we'll see we'll see if he comes and then what he says on his way out. And then you've got
now. Can I point out something? He actually did see Auburn play a couple weeks ago. He was on his official visit to Ole Miss for that game, and I think he had a pretty good visit.
Okay,
we'll see now.
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, yeah, you said he's a Memphis kid. Well, that's kind of Ole Miss country.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean that's like Phoenix City to Auburn or Montgomery to Auburn, right?
Sure. Yeah, definitely not Phoenix City. but here's the thing. Okay, so people have wondered the last few years if Auburn can sell playing time, why haven't they landed guys on the offensive line? That's a good point. But now with high school guys, you really want those guys to get a little seasoning. There'll be an occasional elite guy that's ready to go in year one, but they need some seasoning. But junior college guys, their time is limited. If they're really good, they have to go into a situation where they know they're going to have a great shot of starting. So I think that's why you've seen Auburn pick up some traction here with these guys.
Yeah, I think they like 2 to 3 junior college guys, 2 to 3 transfer portal guys, 4 to 5 high school guys. They're going to restock that offensive line roster. And certainly I think we've mentioned Isaiah Yada, Elijah Philippe.
From Snow College. Here's the thing, Jeffrey. If you look at the offensive line right now, how many of these guys would be starting next year for Auburn? Maybe only Jeremiah Wright.
Right.
Tate Johnson's healthy and back, but you're going to try to recruit over him. Let's be honest.
Sure.
You're going to try to recruit over all these guys. I don't mean that like slap in the face, but that's how it works. So if theoretically you only have one guy, because it looks like Jeremiah Wright, based on what we've seen in one game, may be better than all of them.
Sure.
You may have 4 spots open. You may have 4. That's if everybody comes back. And so a couple guys out of JUCO could fill a couple of those spots. A couple guys out of the portal could fill 2 more spots. And then you've got your 5. And then you have hopefully you have 2 or 3 guys behind them that can play, because it's hard to go the whole season. But if you just look at it based on who's leaving and who's coming back, just because a guy's coming back doesn't mean he's guaranteed of a starting spot. So I think there's going to be 4 new starters on the offensive line next year. That would be my guess.
I think so too.
And that's if Jeremiah Wright comes back. Now, if this coaching staff is replaced, he may say, to hell with it, I'm out of here. I mean, you just never know.
Right.
You never know. I think Keandre Jones would have an extra year, but, quite frankly, he hasn't played well this year. So does he say, I want to go somewhere else and get a fresh start? Does a new coaching staff say, I like this guy, or do they say, we're going to go in another direction? I mean, there's so many unknown variables right now. But, based on what we know right now, the openings are there. And the JUCO guys are listening. Their ears are open, and they're looking hard at that Auburn depth chart. And there's going to be more guys just in the next month. There's going to be more JUCO guys pop up.
Sure. Because they have been out in Kansas. They have been all over Mississippi. They are certainly turning the pages. I mean, on the high school guys and looking a lot at the JUCO guys. DJ Chester still a big target for Auburn. Could he come in this weekend for an unofficial visit with Colton Hood? Potentially, something to keep an eye on. And of course, Stanton Ramil, the big tackle from Thompson. I think he's another guy to keep an eye on as far as Auburn pushing for these guys. Keith, we'll wrap it up there, man, before we get a flag thrown on us. Good stuff for everybody listening. Colton Hood, Tyler Scott, Xavion Miller. Keep an eye on those 3 guys coming in for official visits. May have some additional guys added by the end of the week. Some big-time guys, some big-time names, at least that I'm aware of. See if we can't get those confirmed. If you're not a member of Auburn Live on 3, please go check us out. 1 week free, then it's 50% off for an annual subscription. $50, man. It's the best $50 you'll spend all year. If you haven't already liked and subscribed to our YouTube page, please do so. We're like 8 from 3,000, so we want to get there. Monumental number for us. I don't know why. But anyways, thank you all for listening. Check us back on Wednesday. Keith and I will be back on Wednesday to look more at, maybe we'll have some more names for you for this weekend. Big weekend coming up for Auburn recruiting, and need to get a dub on the football field. Hey, for Keith Niebuhr, for Zach in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay out of the left lane. See ya.